Greetings on behalf of the Planning Accreditation Board, or PAB. This is the second module in a series provided online to help prepare you for your role as a member of a site visit team. As we go through this video, you may stop the presentation at any time and resume at your convenience. Throughout this presentation, we encourage you to write down questions that come to you. If your question is not answered or you are confused about something in this video, please contact PAB staff and they will get back to you with an answer. In addition to the training modules, the PAB website has several valuable manuals and additional resources for site visitors. Please read these manuals and review these resources prior to your visit, as they will refresh your memory of some of this information and provide more detailed information than we can share in this video. In this module, we will examine in detail the criteria outlined in Standard 2 Students, understand the importance of assessing student diversity through applicable law and institutional context, and review types of support and resources for students. The student standard and its criteria are intended to ensure that planning programs are attracting qualified students and providing those students with the support and resources that will lead to success. This standard addresses a program's student admission standards, student diversity, academic support, and support for student participation in the planning field. The program shall demonstrate a commitment to attracting well-qualified students with diverse backgrounds and shall adequately prepare, support, and advise these students to pursue and contribute successfully to the field of urban and regional planning. Accordingly, the program shall demonstrate that its students, upon graduation, possess the knowledge, skills, and values that will enable them to secure professional employment, to perform effectively as planners, and to participate meaningfully in the planning profession. Among the foremost responsibilities of the program are to reject discrimination and to advance diversity and a culture of inclusion and equity among the students. There are 4 criteria within the student's standard. Let's address each one in turn. For each, we will review the text of the criterion, highlight PAB's expectations regarding compliance, and share some situations that may challenge that compliance. Examples are meant to illustrate situations that might be red flags for site visitors. They are not intended to serve as strict definitions of lack of compliance. Student quality is the first criterion within the student's standard. Please pause the presentation to read this text. This criterion addresses whether a program has appropriate admission standards that ensure that students have the necessary background to succeed. These standards should be a combination of academic and non-academic criteria that the program considers relevant and should be appropriate based on the program's mission, goals, and objectives. Tip: look for up-to-date published admissions policies with key indicators of educational attainment, such as minimum GPAs, transcripts, writing samples, resumes, etc. Things that help provide a picture of a student's potential. Criterion 2A, student quality, does not specify what the admission standards should be. Rather, it allows for the program to define its own standards based on the policies of the university in which the program is situated, as well as the program's own goals. Similarly, the criterion addresses the admissions process by requiring that the program demonstrate its standards are being applied in a fair and consistent manner. PAB standards indicate that institutions and programs are to continue to recruit diverse students. The admissions process must rely on race-neutral factors, as per the U.S. Supreme Court ruling. We'll go over PAB's definition of diversity in Criterion 2B. In the self-study report, a program should provide a clearly articulated summary of its admission standards and how they are applied. The admissions process may be specific to the program or may incorporate school or university-wide admissions practices, depending on the institutional structure and whether the degree in question is at the undergraduate or graduate level. The program should also provide evidence of the extent to which its current students meet or exceed these standards. Student diversity is the second criterion within the student's standard. Please pause the presentation to read this text. Planning programs should enroll students who come from a variety of backgrounds and who reflect the diversity of populations that a professional or planner will serve. Preparing students for the diverse world they will experience requires that they learn in diverse classrooms. It is important to note the program should be reviewed consistent with applicable law and institutional policy. What is permissible to one university may not be an option for another, so it is vital to inquire and understand the program's current environment as it pertains to diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. Ask questions of the program administrator, especially if the self-study report is lacking in a discussion of these concepts or if minimal information is provided. This criterion places emphasis on the program's commitment to achieve diversity in its student body. Diversity can be defined in different ways based on a program's unique mission and circumstances. Consistent with applicable law and institutional policies, in its strategic plan, the program should provide a definition of diversity and set clear goals to achieving the kind of diversity that it considers appropriate. DEI and social justice related goals may be broad and need not include specific benchmarks. Although racial and ethnic diversity is the most commonly recognized element of diversity, the program may incorporate other elements that are relevant and appropriate, such as gender, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, etc. The site visit team may not use demographic breakdown tables in determining the program's compliance. Tip: whenever DEI is mentioned, keep in mind the strategic plan shall include the program's definition of diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice, and shall highlight the program's proposed efforts to advance and support this definition. Questions to consider when reviewing the program's DEI efforts could be: how are diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice defined by the program? What actions or strategies by the program demonstrate commitment to creating inclusive environments for all students? Here's a tip. While on site, look for signs of inclusiveness and community building. For example, campus food banks, speaker series, common books that everyone reads, multicultural centers, quiet zones, different clubs that students can join, etc. Student advising services and support is the third criterion within the student's standard. Please pause the presentation to read this text. This criterion addresses the various kinds of support a program provides its students to ensure their success through graduation. These resources should be clearly tailored to a program's goals and objectives, as well as the composition of its student body. For example, a program that features a large number of part-time students may structure its support differently than a primarily full-time program. The program should provide clear evidence that it is providing sufficient support. This might include summaries of its academic advising, career guidance, internships, and job placement programs. The program should also provide evidence that it publicizes both opportunities and award criteria for financial aid. Challenges to meeting this criterion could be if a program handles academic advising informally, depending on students to make independent arrangements with a faculty member of their choice. If advising responsibilities are unequally shared, or the advising program relies on a small subset of faculty. Or if students report a lack of available information regarding opportunities for financial aid, internships, or post-graduation employment. Here's a tip. Look for job or internship postings, online sites with this information available for all students, and look for who's in charge of these things. Student engagement in the profession is the fourth criterion within the student's standard. Please pause the presentation to read this text. This criterion addresses how a program provides its students with resources and experiences outside of the academic environment. In its self-study report, the program should provide evidence of its professional engagement efforts. The program should strive to provide students with a range of activities that put them in direct contact with professional planners or allow them to work in a more professional setting, as this is a critical element of students' development as professional planners. This might include support for student groups, internships, or work programs. Programs may also support student attendance at public meetings, APA conferences, or similar professional events. A program should particularly encourage student connections with APA and other professional planning networks. Practical planning studios and community-based projects are also effective ways to engage students with the profession. Here's a tip. Look for comments from the Student Planning Association and attendance at APA chapter events or conferences, in person or online. This concludes the module for PAB Standard 2 students. On behalf of the PAB board and staff, we want to thank you for completing this module. We invite you now to return to the PAB website to complete training for this module by taking a short quiz about the information in this presentation. You will receive your score on this quiz, and PAB staff will record your results. Thank you so much.